property tax?
Mr. Berg, thank you for asking about property tax. It's an interesting story. If you go back to the beginning of the 20th century, you'll see where the progressives, so-called progressives, proposed having the government confiscate all private property, specifically real property, meaning land and buildings, and also durable goods, such as vehicles, that sort of thing, vehicles, boats, and then leasing them back to the people who previously owned them from the government. So the government literally owns everything. Of course, when they first proposed those ideas, they got a lot of pushback. So they simply switched tactics and changed it from the government owning it to you owning it, but having to pay a property tax on it. And if you don't pay your property tax, of course, the government will then confiscate that real or durable property which you are being charged taxes on. In any other business other than government, that would be called rent. It means that the government holds title to the property that you believe you hold title to, and that's both your real property and your durable goods, and they're charging you rent for it. The fact is that is completely immoral, absolutely unethical, and it is problematic in a lot of other ways. The fact of the matter is that the Constitution of the United States was written to as a foundation for a government that would uphold and defend your individual natural rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the critical component of the pursuit of happiness is how to dispose of your private property. Effectively, the most valuable bits of private property that we have are real and durable property. We've been denied real title to it, and the government is actually confiscating your property, which is the opposite of the job it's supposed to do, which is to protect, uphold, and defend your individual natural rights, including your right to private property. And instead, you have an oppressive government which is confiscating your private property, which you have earned by the investment of your time, your effort, your capabilities, in other words, yourself. So in effect, the government is confiscating yourself from you. It needs to end. It is terribly immoral. Thank you for asking. Mr. Burke, you also asked about income tax. The simple fact of the matter is you earn your income by the investment of yourself, your time, your effort, your capabilities, your creativity. Therefore, it belongs to you. The government has no right to confiscate it. Let's talk about the business inventory tax, which you didn't ask about, which is another horrifically destructive tax that we in the state of West Virginia have. You have a business that purchases materials or goods and then turns around and sells them. When they purchase them, they pay sales tax on it. When someone purchases from them, they pay sales tax. So the thing is being taxed twice. But it's even worse than that, because while it's sitting on a shelf waiting to be sold, the business is paying inventory tax on it. This is insane. It's terribly destructive to business, and it needs to end. So this leaves us with the ultimate question, which is, how should the government fund itself if not through income taxes and property taxes and business inventory taxes? Well, the simple fact of the matter is the only service that the government provides effectively that is taxable, as far as I'm concerned, is that it upholds and defends our individual natural rights, and it maintains the institutions that allows us to freely exercise our individual natural rights. So what does that mean? To me, in my mind, a sales tax, a consumption tax, is the only valid and moral tax that there is, because effectively you're paying a fee for the right to engage in that market, that free and secure market that the government is providing, or the government is maintaining the freedom and the security of it. So if a consumption tax is the only valid tax, there's one other benefit to that, which is that you, as an individual citizen, or you as a business owner, can choose to limit the amount of tax that you pay by limiting your engagement in the free marketplace. Now, of course, there are certain things you have to engage in the marketplace for, such as food and medicine. I don't believe food and medicine should be taxed at all. There should be no sales tax on food and medicine. That's one of the things that I think that West Virginia does right. So effectively, a tax on engaging in the free marketplace, in my mind, is the only valid, the only moral, and the only ethical tax there is. I would love to change that. I would love to act like Jim Justice does and issue an edict that changes all of this, but that's unconstitutional. It's unacceptable, and so you will have to engage in this process via your elected representatives, your delegates, and your senators to change the legislation and thereby change the paradigm of taxation in the state of West Virginia. Thank you for asking. Ms. Jones, thank you for asking about